At 5 o'clock, the Oregon National Guard will begin pulling out of hospitals this coming Monday. They will leave gradually, 25% every 2 weeks, and expect all but a small number of the troops to be finished with the mission in mid-November.
KGW's Pat Doris spent part of the day at Salem Hospital checking in on their tasks.
Salem Hospital is a massive facility, licensed for 494 beds, but caring for more patients than that during the worst days of COVID. Even with 2,000 nurses, it was more than they could handle.
People were fatigued, exhausted. It's been a long 18 months for our staff and our providers and physicians.
That's Sarah Horn, the chief nursing officer. Salem is typically staffed assuming the hospital will have 75 to 80% of its beds full. When the Delta variant sent more than 100 patients to the hospital, it went well over 100% full. Everyone was swamped.
So none of us anticipated that. None of us staffed up for that.
In mid-August, Oregon Governor Kate Brown sent in the National Guard.
Get a quick temperature of you.
Soldiers can still feel the relief.
Oh, I do. They tell me all the time that they're very appreciative of us being here.
They're hard to miss, wearing their military uniforms in a place where white coats and scrubs are the norm. And they're all over the place, from running health screening stations to moving supplies and more. Deep in the basement, in a maze of boxes, we found Joseph Acurez from Fairview, quickly picking orders.
We've got a requisition order for the emergency department.
But there was an understandable learning curve.
Yeah, when I first came here, I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of confused on oh, well, how am I supposed to know where everything's at?
Before the Guard arrived, it was a struggle to get all the supplies pouring into the hospital where it was needed, even with staffers working overtime. 9 Guard members pitched in and got it done, including 2 who worked the graveyard shift.
They were real backed up with orders, and us getting here definitely helped them out.
On the 5th floor, Dan Conley, who usually works on jets at Kingsley Field in Klamath Falls, puts other skills to work.
They teach us how to fold laundry pretty extensively in basic training, so this one I feel semi-qualified to do.
He's helped double the number of times nursing closets are restocked, allowing the nurses to keep working on patients instead of looking for supplies. He's in an area that's an overflow for the ICU. COVID patients have ended up here, an eye-opening experience.
When it's serious, how serious it really is. When folks get intubated, what that outlook looks like, and it's not a good one. So it definitely made COVID more real for me.
Back in the basement, food service has benefited as well. The hospital serves up 1,100 food trays a day, many hand-delivered. The staff lost 6 workers who quit when the COVID pandemic began. 7 soldiers, including Tommy Watson, filled the gap.
Food services, may I come in?
Yeah.
Hi there.
Adding the Guard cut the time from order to delivery by 22 minutes.
Thank you so much.
On another floor, Jonathan Osborne, a software developer in his civilian life in Forest Grove, has the job of cleaning rooms after the patients leave.
Some of those come up with high priority, short notice, so as soon as it comes in, you got to rush over and get the room clean, because some of them they have patients already waiting to get in.
While it is still busy, the COVID numbers are going down here and across the state. Salem Hospital had 64 COVID patients Wednesday. That's down from its high of 112. The staff knows Guard members will soon move on, and they will be missed.
Absolutely. They've really become part of our team. So, yeah.
They will not be forgotten.
So having the National Guard here has just been instrumental in terms of our morale. They've offered a sense of protection. They've helped us navigate this crisis. It's been just quite frankly overwhelming for all of us.
Pat Doris, KGW News.
Boy, we sure thank the Guard members, too. Today, Governor Jay Inslee issued a new vaccine requirement statewide for large events. Starting on November 15th, anyone 12 and older will need to show proof of vaccination at indoor events with more than 1,000 people or show a negative test result within 72 hours of the event. And there's the same requirement for outdoor events with at least 10,000 people.
A panel of U.S. health advisors is endorsing booster shots for Moderna's vaccine. The FDA advisors voted on the recommendation earlier today. The committee looked at data from studies looking at the effectiveness of the extra shot to fight COVID. The recommendation will allow a lower dose shot for seniors and other high-risk groups. The panel will discuss booster shots of the Johnson & Johnson vaccine on Friday. Final decisions on if either shot will be distributed will happen next week.
The FBI is offering a substantial reward for information about a mass shooting that killed a Portland teenager and injured 6 others. Federal agents hope $25,000 will encourage someone to speak up about the unsolved murder of Michaela Harris. Mike Benner reports.
I just want to say that Michaela is an amazing person and she did not deserve this.
Friends and family of Michaela Harris make a desperate plea. Anyone with information about her murder, please come forward, if for nothing else, for Michaela's parents.
Give them justice, let their mind be at peace.
18-year-old Michaela, a graduate of Grant High School, was shot and killed back on July 17th. 6 others were injured in the early morning mass shooting near Southwest 3rd and Oak.
This is the day that took my daughter's innocence away. Her life was violated when she was only doing what many young people do, hang out with friends.
That's FBI Special Agent in Charge, Kieran Ramsey, reading a statement from a parent of one of the injured. He also shared words from Michaela's mother.
Michaela was beautiful, happy, and recently graduated high school. To the community, my family and I are asking for continued privacy as we are grieving the loss of our beautiful Michaela.
Ramsey says gang members appear to be responsible for the shooting that killed Michaela and injured 6.
All were bystanders caught up in this historic level of violence that we're seeing here in our shared community right now.
So far this year, there have been more than 925 shootings in Portland. That's up from 388 just 2 years ago.
Our city, our metro area, is awash with guns being illegally obtained, illegally bought, sold, traded, stolen, causing all of this killing.
If anybody understands that, it's those who love Michaela Harris.
We have laid Michaela to rest, but we also need justice. So if anybody has anything to say, please just come forward.
Our hearts certainly go out to Michaela's family and friends. Anyone with information about this shooting or anyone who has video prior to, during, or after the shooting is urged to contact the FBI or the Portland Police Bureau. A reward of up to $25,000 is available. Reporting in North Portland, I'm Mike Benner for KGW News.
ODOT is one step closer to completing the historic Columbia River Highway State Trail. Blasting on the new Mitchell Point Tunnel started this week. Chris McGinnis takes a look at the work and shows us some of the history behind the original Gorge Highway.
Mitchell Point is the hardest and most visible section of that.
The prominent outcropping in the Columbia Gorge near Hood River is one of the last work zones needed to reconnect a 73-mile continuous path from Troutdale to the Dalles. It's known as the historic Columbia River Highway and State Trail.
For 30 plus years, we've been working really hard to reconnect the areas where I-84 has destroyed or disconnected segments of the trail.
Photos, some more than 100 years old, capture the original Mitchell Point Tunnel, complete with huge windows known as adits, which offered spectacular views of the gorge. The original highway was the first of its kind in the Pacific Northwest. Larger vehicles and heavier use made it obsolete by the 1950s.
We're coming up on 75 years since the tunnel was originally destroyed to make way for I-84. We're going to recreate those views.
Before that recreation in a new 655-foot tunnel,
fire in the hole!
A little demo work, which started this week.
There's a lot of moving pieces, and it's a big lift to do some blasting, especially at Mitchell Point, where everything is basically on top of each other.
Contractors will need to blast and drill out about 7,000 cubic yards of rock. That's enough to fill 2 Olympic swimming pools with leftovers.
It's an incredible operation. You know, we have multiple cars, we have people on radios, coordinating, making sure eastbound and westbound is all coordinated.
I-84 traffic will experience rolling slowdowns through the gorge while blasting is happening, Tuesdays and Thursdays through mid-November. The $31 million project is funded through the Federal Lands Access Program. ODOT expects to open the new Mitchell Point Tunnel in about 2 years. Chris McGinnis, KGW News.